You're listening to Casual Alterations, a podcast by and for fans of Altered TCG. Here's your hosts, Kari and Ian.
I don't know the name of this song. Silly little love songs.
Yes,
right?
silly love songs. Yep, that's what it is. Paul McCartney.
Is that Paul McCartney or was that Wings or
No, I think that's Paul McCartney. I don't think that's Wings. I don't know. Someone will correct us in the comments.
You think so?
Well, no.
Welcome, bienvenue, welcome.
Bonjour, hello, welcome to Casual Alterations Podcast, the least professional, most conventional podcast about Equinox's TCG Altered.
This is a podcast where we talk about Altered and why we love it. I am Kari, also known as the Tokens Lady.
And I'm Ian, the Token Husband. Today, we are going to talk about Star City Games Convention in Minneapolis, convention number 25. I don't know why it's called 25.
I think it's because it's 2025.
It is 2025. Wow, that's a mind bender.
Yeah, but first we want to remind you that this podcast is brought to you by you when you support us on Make Playing Cards or Etsy or even perhaps Patreon.
Yeah, or follow us on Blue Sky. I know we had a little weekend off a little bit, showed some pictures of us with some big giant cards. There wasn't a lot of blue skying.
We were a little too busy to post on the Blue Skies.
And don't forget to use that Patreon option because we now have the Asgartha map. So Kari has built this map. It's taken her quite a bit of time to build it. It is beautiful. It's kind of a Lord of the Rings thing that you came up with yourself.
Well, I mean, I didn't come up with it myself, but I came up with the idea of using that.
Yep.
Theme.
Well, and you use a lot of different resources. What kind of resources? Who did you use for resources mostly, though?
Mostly, I used the Altered Wiki, which I'm so sorry. I apologize to the people who made that wiki. I forget what the address of it is.
It's on Fandom.
Yeah, I also did refer back to the website itself, but I just found it much easier to find the specific items I was looking for by navigating on the wiki.
But there was somebody's map that you also used a little bit.
Yes, the Citrus Frog also did a map, which I really loved. I actually had already started this map when they did it, and I joked that they stole my idea because they did theirs faster. But it was great helping me find some of the specific locations that I was trying to pin down on the map, because there are so many different maps and not all of them show all the information.
Yeah, I was impressed that you found all the refuges from Muna, for example. Those aren't really listed anywhere, and you even were able to figure out what refuge goes where.
Well, there was a map actually that had all of those on it.
Well, but you had to dig and find it. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not an easy one to find.
No, I suppose it wasn't. Thanks to the wiki, I found it. So thanks, whoever it was that put that up there. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and we usually use the Fandom wiki site once a week to post some lore, although we've not done a lot of that recently. But hey, we're sorry also. We missed last week. Family got in the way, and sometimes that happens. So just like everything else, we don't have a schedule. You get what you get.
Yeah, when we have the motivation and energy and are in the right mood, I guess.
Today, you're at home.
Yes,
but
for
tomorrow
now.
You are going to be gone again. So you were gone away from home with me to the Minneapolis convention for 4 days, and then you get a day breather at home.
If you could call it that, yeah. Today I am packing and organizing for my trip tomorrow when I will leave for Boston to go to Pax East.
So we've got a little tidbits that we heard this week from Justin Parnell. We did spend a lot of time with Justin, and I did try to probe him for lots of answers. He was very good about being tight-lipped, but there were some kind of things that he shared about PAX East that I think we can tell everybody, encourage people to show up there if you haven't got your ticket.
Oh, yeah, it's not a secret. At PAX East, the scheduled events, 11 or 12 of them, will have each of them, for the top winner of that event, a prize that is an oversized card similar in size to the ones that we saw at PAX Unplugged in December. They will be new cards, never before seen outside of Equinox and wherever they printed them, I assume. But they are cards from Whispers from the Maze. So we'll start to see reveals at PAX, assuming, of course, that the winners share their cards, because it is up to them to do that at their own peril if they choose not to. The crowd that is hungry for spoilers will go feral if they don't get their spoilers from the PAX people. So I don't expect to win one myself, but if you do and you're listening, please be sure to share that.
Justin did say that he was going to give them to everybody who won face down, so that they could only be the ones seeing it. So yeah, you do have the option of how you want to reveal that. So think about that if you're going to PAX East too.
There were some great reveals at PAX Unplugged. I really enjoyed the one from the guy who started at the other end of his house with a picture. It was so small you couldn't see it. And then a few minutes later, he posted another picture that was just a little bit closer. And then another one that was a little bit closer. And I think it took him about an hour to reveal to get close enough to read the card. But that was really fun. I liked that.
Yes, that was fun. And you're going to be there with the map.
I will have playmats with me. Yes, they are gifts for our patrons who sign up at the Onoroi level while they're at PAX. If you sign up and tell me that you have done so, I will have a playmat to give to you. Up to a certain amount, of course. I can only fit so many in my suitcase, friends. But I will have some with me.
There's another thing that you're going to have too, which we gave away a few of those at Star City Games.
Yes. Kurakami.
Kurakami Freed from Ice proxy card. So what's this?
It is a full art stained glass proxy token that we made just to use as a temporary stand-in for your Kurakami cards while you're waiting for print on demand.
Yeah, maybe you don't have 20 cards that you want to buy right now when the card is finally revealed in a week or so.
Probably. Yeah, I don't know how quickly they're going to reveal it.
Yeah, it'll probably be the first card that kind of is revealed for Whispers of the Maze, even though it's not going to be part of that set.
Yeah, who knows? But I will have a limited number of those tokens with me for trade.
What do you got to trade?
If you bring me a signed by you paper copy of a rare, I will give you one in exchange, one proxy token. If you bring me a signed paper unique, I will give you a playset of 3. You don't have to give us the digital copies. We don't want your digital copies. We just want the paper copies because we're going to put them in our cube.
We're building a casual alterations cube with all of these cards. It will be the signed cube. All cards will be signed. I think currently we have 12 cards.
Yep, I think that's about the number that we got at...
Well, we got one from Gen Con.
Oh, we did. Yes, the very first one. Shout out to Demetrius, who we let him open one of our packs at Gen Con, and there was a unique in it. It was our first ever unique, I think, that was opened at all, and Demetrius got to open it at PAX. He was so excited. I felt like a proxy joy because he was so excited about it. We had him sign that card, and that is the first card that went into our cube.
Yep, so we'll be building a cube from all of those. Also, if you happen to have sold one of those cards, one of those uniques, let's say you go to Marketplace, you sell some of your Marketplace cards, you're going to have that paper copy. If you don't need that paper copy, bring it to us. That's a great way to sign it and put it in our cube. Or you can even just give them to Kari. We're going to use all of those cards and mention who brought them to us on those cards, so that all those cards eventually go in the cube.
But if it's a unique that we already have that's in our cube already, it might go into the uniques only cube, which is a whole other separate project.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other thing that we're kind of building separately. You don't have to contribute, but if you'd like to, absolutely, we'll take them.
We will always take donations of your paper uniques, even if they're terrible.
Yeah, especially if they're terrible. Because honestly, if the cards that triple Anansi have those abilities in them, we're not putting those in those cubes.
That's too good.
We want them to be average size, basic, rarish quality uniques, so that it's not too powerful.
We just want to see what people can do, how you can draft this janky pile of cards into some sort of interesting deck. That's the goal of the cube, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know when we'll debut it, but hopefully by the beginning of next year, hopefully we'll have enough stuff for it.
It's going to be dependent on how many uniques we get our hands on.
And what we're doing for the year too, because I'm sure it'll be a great event to go to. So if you're interested in that, please send us our stuff. We were in Minneapolis.
Yes, we were.
We got there Thursday night.
Yes, we did.
We were going to do a cube.
We were, but we had a death in the family, which kind of derailed our plans a little bit. But Justin so kindly volunteered to bring his own cube, so we got to draft that on Thursday, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we drafted it again after he updated it on Saturday night too. So
we did, yeah.
So it was great fun. Justin's cube is a lot of fun. He is, if you don't know a lot about him, he did make a lot of magic cubes. He is actually one of the founders of the Cube Con that takes place in Madison, Wisconsin every, I think, October is when they do their magic cube cons. And something that I've always wanted to do, to go there and play. But yeah, so he has a lot of knowledge about building them, and it was great to play him.
Well known as the cube guy, I guess. It was really, I felt like it was really special to be able to draft a Justin cube.
Yes, it was fun, and to be invited to do that too is great. We got to Friday morning, probably late morning, we get to the convention center in Minneapolis, and it's actually a pretty big crowd of probably close to 1,800 to 2,000 people there for a regional a qualifier for Magic. And then there was other games going on. There was some Flesh and Blood, which from what we heard, it sounded like they filled up pretty quickly. A lot of people couldn't make it to those Flesh and Blood events. There was Lorcana and also Star Wars Unlimited. Don't know as much about those because no one from those groups actually came to chat with us, but we did have some Flesh and Blood people come over later in the weekend to play Altered.
We did, yeah. Yeah, that was really cool too. We had, on Friday, it was a pretty slow day. I'm assuming most people were at work and had plans just to come down for the weekend. Saturday picked up a bunch. We had a 9 people, I think, for our draft on Saturday morning, and then 8 in the afternoon for the constructed special event, which had as a prize to the winner an oversized card. And when I say oversized, I mean really oversized.
It's the size of the Magic.
2.5 feet tall.
Yeah, the size of the Magic oversized cards. If you've seen those before, this is what they were doing. They were in English. They were here. And one of the things we learned from Justin was they might not do it ever again like that, because from his own experience, he knows how difficult it is to fly home with one of those.
Yeah, they don't fit in a suitcase. Absolutely not. And they're too big to put on your seat in the airplane. I don't even think you could buy a second seat for that card. I think it would take up more space than you could. I think you probably would just have to sell it if you had to fly home, because there's no other way to get that thing back to your house.
Yeah, so it would be only a regional thing. So maybe they're happening in France and they'll be in French, but we feel like we may have the 3 only English ones.
Well, okay,
we don't
have all 3. So we didn't win the event. Neither one of us won the event on Saturday afternoon. One of our friends did. Shout out to Eric, who went 3-0 with his Aphanis deck. Great job. Awesome deck.
It was good.
Piloted well.
Yep. I played against it on Friday night, and it was the only win I had Friday night. Was my Lindaway deck beat his Aphanis deck. So I felt, but when he won, I felt redeemed in a way, because like, hey, that deck is not as good as my deck.
It wasn't as good as your deck on that one occasion. Yeah. I think you'd want to go at least best of 3.
Yeah.
Before you decide if it's better or not. Yeah, it was great fun. So Eric took home the very first card, the Spindle Harvesters giant card. We had gathered almost enough tickets to buy one. We were 100 tickets short. And one of the other gentlemen in the event, shout out to Justin from Iowa, gave us 100 tickets so that we could pick up an oversized card ourselves. So we brought home the Haven Bravos Bastion, which is currently resting on our mantelpiece. It will eventually find a permanent home somewhere in our living space. That was awesome. And then the third one went to Jeremy.
Yep, High Tech in the Discord.
Yep, who picked up the, what was it, Small Step, Giant Leap, the Izmir version. So
yeah, and it felt good that we were all Minnesota players getting these cards, and these cards are going to be in Minnesota homes
Yes,
for a
they're all
while.
going to stay local. I like that about that. I mean, not that I would have begrudged anyone else who
No,
picked one
absolutely
up,
not.
but it does feel good to know that they're all still within close proximity to their siblings. These cards can get together for family reunions in the future.
And then Sunday started out just tremendous. I know that Friday I was a little down after when we got back to the hotel, just like, oh, are we going to have good enough groups? And then Saturday was great.
You know,
It was
the thing about Friday, our events were slow, but the learn to play tables were always full, or
yes,
almost always full.
yeah.
When I looked over, except for when we were out of events. When we were not in events, that's when they were slow. I never really got any good pictures of the crowds because we were always busy. Yeah, it was a little disheartening that we didn't have people there to play in the ticketed events. But then Saturday it
Yep.
picked up, and then Saturday night we got to draft Justin's Cube again, which was great. It was a excellent mood booster.
Yep. And then we got to Sunday, and really there was a 2v2 constructed tournament that we knew it was just going to be the 2 or 3 teams, and it was 3. And shout out to Eric and Nate for winning that one. That they crushed us with Lyra Festival. One of them playing Luna, one of them playing Lyra.
Lyra Myra Festival combo.
Yep. Yeah,
and turns out if you don't draw your permanent removal, there's nothing you can do about Lyra Festival.
Especially if one of your opponents has a Kodama that puts some when it Kodama unique, that when it comes in it gives something fleeting, and if you do, guess what? It goes asleep. Yeah. So there's 2 of the 3 things that you need.
So and then he had something anchored. I don't remember how. It doesn't matter how he anchored it.
Well, Nate anchored it. If you remember, yes.
Yeah. Nope, I didn't remember that. Yep. But yeah,
that's how they beat us. I don't know how they beat Will and Adam, but they.
I don't know, but that was impressive. And I'm never mad when someone wins with Lyra Festival. I'm just happy for them always because it's such a weird card that anytime you can meet those conditions, I feel a little boosted joy for you.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So that started out Sunday. It was like, okay, yep. We got that event, and then we started hearing about how big the draft might be, and it kept going up and up, and finally we did get 16 people. There were the 6 of us regulars there that were from Minneapolis, and then another 10 people joined the draft. In fact, there was going to be a 17th person that couldn't get in the draft, and for that reason, Star City Games, credit to them, stuck around, did another draft that included them and a few other people. For another set of 8. So there was actually an unscheduled draft there for it. Thank you, Star City, for doing that. Thanks for Travis, who was the judge for the weekend, for doing that as well.
Yeah, big shout out to Travis. He was awesome. He was our judge the whole weekend, and he was great. I think credit to him really for even suggesting the second draft, because I don't know if Star City would have even known. But he said, look, there's people here who are having a great time and they're interested in staying. And this, the games go faster than you think. So an event gets done early. Well, why not just have another event? And so he suggested it, and Star City said, yeah, great idea. Let's do it. And they did. We did not stay for that because we had to drive all the way home. It was a very long weekend.
Yeah, a good altered draft should take 2.5 hours. An hour to draft and put your deck together. And they do go together usually fairly quickly because you've already kind of known what you're doing and you're only going to have so many cards to play. And then a half an hour around, yeah, you can get out of there in 2.5 hours. Think of how many times that we've drafted Magic, went to the store at 6 o'clock and left at 10. No, we do not get out of there in 2.5 hours. That never happens.
The best of one really does make it move quickly, which is great. I mean, there's arguments to be made for playing best of 3, for consistency, but I prefer the best of 1. I didn't think I would. When they first started talking about how events would be best of 1, I thought, oh, that just doesn't seem like enough. But actually, it goes really quickly, and you have a lot of fun, and it never gets tiring like it does sometimes with best of 3.
Yeah, and I think Friday, that quickness was a downside because we did feel like we played 2.5 hours of Altered for our day, and it just wasn't enough to fill it. Be sure on those Fridays, if you're going Thursday and Friday to PAX, make sure that you get people to stick around and do other things. A lot of people are going to be flying in. You're going to have some extra time there. Get some non-traditional events, stuff that might not be on the list there, to go and play so that you can get all of the Altered that you want, because I know people that are flying in are going to want to get their money's worth.
Well, and at PAX, they're going to have learn to plays all day, every day. So I suspect that events will be full every single day because people will learn the game. And just like at every other convention where we've been, people learn the game and love the game immediately and then go and sign up for a draft. They're not going to play constructed, obviously, because they don't have decks yet. They just learned the game. But anybody can walk up and do a draft.
Even if you go to a draft, let's say the last draft is at 5, you're going to be done at 8:30. The hall probably isn't going to close till 10. You know, you could even be done at 7:30, and you might even be able to get in at some other event too. So
you could stay and jam some games with people who are just hanging around.
Absolutely.
Which I will be doing. If I'm not playing Altered, I'm going to be sitting at the tables waiting for someone to show up and say, hey, you want to play? I will have my decks.
And Loki will have decks too.
Loki will have decks too. I know they have boss battles scheduled. They have other events planned. But even when there aren't events planned, I literally have no other plans during the convention. I will be haunting the Altered tables unless I got to go get food or something. Maybe, I guess people need to eat and drink things and stuff. And I probably will have to do that. I might need some people to stop by and remind me to drink some water or get some food or something. But seriously, if you see me around, come up. If I'm not playing a game with someone, ask me to play a game. I'll have a deck.
So there's one takeaway that I got out of Star City Games event, which just totally blew me away. I kind of knew this because this is why we're doing the podcast. We want people to be playing the game. We want people to enjoy it. But Justin did, and I forget, was it Abby, the person that he was working with from Game Center? I don't remember her name. Whoever she is, if her name is not Abby, I apologize, but hey, you did a great job too. Both of them really pulled people in. And actually, I spent maybe 10 minutes on Saturday afternoon between two events that we had. I went to the bathroom. I came back. I saw that Justin was doing his thing. And like I said, Abby, I think it is. But they were there, and I was watching them, how they were interacting with people. And I just want to remind everybody that we are ambassadors to the game. Like, no matter who you are and how much you play the game, really take the time to get more people involved, because that's the only way this game is going to grow. A great example of this too is Will, who is a player from Minneapolis. He is a very competitive game, and I think this weekend was the first time I actually beat him in a game.
Yeah. Well, I think he was our tumult champion in Minneapolis. I mean, I know he was our tumult champion in Minneapolis. Yeah, I don't think I've ever beat him in a game either. I did beat him once this weekend, I think one time with the Sigismar draft deck that I built. And I felt a little dirty about playing Sigismar, but considering Will has crushed me with Sigismar on multiple occasions, I have felt no guilt about that.
But Will came into the game, I think about 6 months ago. He didn't come in right away at the beginning. Got into it, got interested in it. He had brought some of his friends into Magic, and he is now, on Sunday, they were there. Those friends, same friends that were playing Magic, were there playing Altered. You can just invite people in. I know one of his friends up here in Fargo, too, is actually playing games with us here in Fargo.
Yes.
So, Blaine wouldn't have played the game, I don't think, if Will hadn't been such an ambassador to the game.
Yeah, he might not have even known about it. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's how you get people to play the game. You introduce it to them, and once they see it, they will love it just as much as you do.
And you got to do the same thing with your local game stores too. I know that we get small numbers at the 3 stores that we play at. Starting this week, we will be playing Altered on Friday nights at our main store.
Whenever possible.
Whenever possible, we'll be doing that. We'll probably play a few games of Magic too, but we love Altered and we really want this game to succeed. So we'll be there at Friday Night Magic playing Altered.
Yeah, I mean, we really love Altered. We play Magic still because it's a game that we have invested in heavily. We have a lot of friends who play it, but Altered is probably our top priority game now. We love it, and we can't wait until it grows enough that we can play it at every convention.
And I think if you have questions about how to get more people involved, get your local game stores involved, there are great people on the Discord who have had success. Reach out, because we will give you some advice. If you're struggling with it, reach out to us and we can commiserate and encourage educating people about what this game is, that this is a TCG that is played on a board.
It's different from any other TCG, which you know, if you're listening to this podcast, you know, except for my mom. Hi, Mom. Love you.
But you should, Mom, also get people to play this game.
Anytime you want to learn, Mom, we're ready to teach you.
Then that's going to be it for this week. Thank you for listening, and get out there and play some more Altered whenever you can.
And if you have a minute, please take a few moments to rate our humble podcast wherever you found us, or leave us comments on the Discord.
Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Anywhere out in the interwebs. Yep, just we're Casual Alterations, no spaces. Just go out there and reach out to us.
And of course, self-promotion, please check out our Patreon, which we have recently launched. We do have rewards available for people who sign up to support us on Patreon.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
I'll see you at PAX, I hope.
This has been Casual Alterations Podcast. For more information, please visit us at casualalterations.wordpress.com.